Hello, and welcome to the 206th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Bruckert. We're going to be having another outstanding beer. We're going to be having today, from the Barrel of Monks Brewing Company, we're going to be having the Wizard, which is a Whit beer or wheat beer of the Belgian style. Now, previously, we've talked about this brewery, Barrel of Monks, out of Boca Raton, Florida, where they specialize in the Belgian beers. And this is their interpretation of a wit beer, which is what they call a Belgian wheat beer, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start pouring this here, and we'll talk about it. The beer clock scores an 88 out of 100, which is very good for a wheat beer, because wheat beers don't usually score traditionally super high, okay? So an 88 solid. Clocks in at a 5.5% alcohol by volume. And what I'm expecting for this beer, now I've had it before, but it's been a while, but I'm expecting your traditional, based on how they make their beers, because they always make them traditional style. Sometimes they put their own little twist on there, but the style should be traditional. So that would be wheat with a Belgian yeast, orange, and coriander. Okay, those are going to be your staples for a traditional. And then I'm not sure I don't remember what kind of thing, but I think they finish it with a little bit more hoppiness than you might get out of a traditional Belgian beer to kind of round out the beer. That might be their twist on it. But let's go ahead, let's smell it. So, right off the bat, I'm getting that bready wheat smell. I smell the oranges. I can get a hint of the coriander. And maybe, just maybe, I am smelling some hops in there. There's some smell in there that's just slightly off of what you would traditionally expect in a traditional Belgian wheat. And I think it's just the little bit of hops. And I think the hops, if I remember right, come on at the very end just to kind of balance the beer. But let's go ahead, let's waste no time. Let's go ahead. Now that did dissipate, the head did dissipate fast. And I don't know if I poured a little bit too slow, but the color is a beautiful orange. You got a little bit of a cloudiness to it. White head, appears to be good lacing. I can see the stickiness of the beer. So it's a good quality beer. I'm just not sure why the head dissipated quite so quickly, but let's waste no time here. All right, so definitely a strong flavor of that Belgian yeast in there, which I like. I like the Belgian yeast. You're getting the wheat, you're getting the orange, you're getting the spiciness of the coriander. Oh, fantastic beer. And the one thing I'd like to say about this beer, a lot of times when you drink a Belgian wit beer, they're not like, I don't know how to say this without sounding, but a lot of them don't have a lot of flavor, if that makes any sense. So you start drinking these mass-produced Belgian-style wheat beers, obviously you're getting wheat, you're getting coriander, and they're not terrible. There's just not a lot of flavor to them. This beer is busting with flavor. You do get the strong yeast flavor. You get the pronounced coriander flavor. You get the orange flavor in there. And then the hops to kind of round it all out. It is just a truly beautiful beer that blends perfectly, but is full of flavor. The complexity of this beer compared to most of your Belgian wit beers, it is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it. So I would definitely give it a high rating. And the beauty of it is all that flavor in there. You know, like I said, I mean, if you think about a lot of the even true Belgian wheats, like the Hogarden. Hogarden is very very light. It's good flavor, but it's not nothing pronounced. This one kind of jumps out at you. It's just got a lot of flavor. It's not boring. It's got complexity of each flavor in there that blends it into a nice, you know, kind of single flavor. But you can pick out each of the flavors of the beer, including the hops. And I'm not one to like a real hoppy wheat beer, but there's just enough hops to give it a nice hop flavor without being hoppy, if that makes any sense. People who don't like hops wouldn't really understand that. But when you taste the beer, the hops actually, the spiciness at the end with the coriander actually accentuates the flavor of the beer without being hoppy. But I know that that's what I'm tasting just from, you know, years of drinking experience. Now this beer was bottled March 23rd of 21, so this is a pretty fresh beer. I've had it, I must have bought this when it was pretty fresh, because I think I bought it a couple of months ago and I've been waiting to drink it. So it must have been really fresh when I first got it, if I hadn't sat on it so long. But beautiful beer. Anytime you see Barrel of Monks, whether it's in the small bottles or a lot of them they do in the big bottles, I have not had a bad Barrel of Monks beer. They're just all to me have been really spectacular. I love their quad. I love their triple. I love their Christmas beer. Oh, delicious. So I'm going to keep drinking these Barrel of Monks beers because they've been good. And they did an excellent job. They rate this at 88 out of 100. And I would agree with that all day long, if not even a little bit better, because, you know, the thing is wheat beers don't tend to rate as high. If this wasn't a wheat beer, it would be probably ranked a lot higher. I just don't know what it is about wheat beers. Some of the greatest wheat beers that are out there, you'll look and they'll be rated 80 something. They just, for some reason, don't rate high with the different rating scales. But if you like wheat, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to wheat, in my book. Everybody likes a little bit something different in wheat. Some people are going to be more your traditional, you know, Hogarden, or people that like the Blue Moon and Shock Top. You know, that's what they like. They like a lighter beer. I like something like this that has a little bit more flavor. And that's why I tend to gravitate a lot more to the German Hefeweizens, because they tend to have more of that banana, clovey, coriander type flavor, a little bit more in your face. But for a Belgian wit, this is absolutely phenomenal. So make sure you check it out. Now, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends about beer issues and how much fun we're having talking about great beer and drinking great beer. And make sure they tell their friends so everybody knows about beer issues. If you want any cool beer issues gear, like beer issues hats, t-shirts, phone cases, anything like that, make sure you go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.